Hi guys, Kevin here from Golf Guy Reviews, and in today's video I wanted to compare two of the leading Adidas spikeless golf shoes. Here we've got the Tour360XT SL, and we're going to compare that against the brand new Codechaos golf shoes. Now, as I said, both of these are spikeless, and both of these are designed both for comfort as well as leading performance. So given that Adidas have got two shoes that look very different and are designed in very different ways, I thought I'd actually do a side-by-side comparison. So this isn't going to be necessarily a full in-depth review of each of the shoes. If you want that, then you can click the links above and in the description below, because I've done reviews of both shoes. But this is going to be a side-by-side comparison. I'm going to let you know what I think of the both and actually which ones I prefer. So if you enjoyed the video today, make sure you hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can keep up to date in all my latest reviews of golf shoes, clothing and tech right here on Golf Guy Reviews. So first of all, let's start with the clear and obvious differences in regards to the style of the shoes. The Tour360XT is very much looking to try and emulate a more traditional while modern style golf shoe. So you know you've got a lot of leather on there, and it's going to look quite similar to a lot of golf shoes out there on the market. Compare that with the Codechaos. This is trying to really break a trend and look like nothing else really out there on the market at the moment. Still, both are high performance spikeless golf shoes, so both have been used by professional players on the golf tours. But yeah, they look very different. Do you want something that looks a little bit more traditional, or do you want something that's really going to stand out on the course? So definitely, you know, that's something to consider. In terms of performance wise, both of these are looking to be high-end performance spike golf shoes, but they are doing it in a very different way. So we'll come on to that in a little bit. Now, as I said, I've done full reviews of both of these shoes, so if you want in-detailed information, then you can go check those out in the links that I've included. But if we take a very quick look at just some of the style points of each of the shoes, first of all, with the Tour360XT, you can see here that you've got the very soft climber-proof leather upper here, and you know you've got some slightly different materials being used in regards to the elements underneath the Tour360 wrap area. You've got this Tour360 wrap, which is kind of helping to lock down the shoe and fit and feel right on your feet there across the midfoot. And again, if you kind of go towards the heel area, you've got the combination of the more traditional style leather and then this perforated around the heel and ankle area. And in terms of kind of looking at the midfoot, you've got a full length boost here, which is totally exposed. And then you've got it sandwiched between, you've got first of all this piece, which I believe is kind of an EVA plastic material there, and then the sole of the shoe as well. So the boost is totally open all the way around the heel and midfoot of the shoe, but it's sandwiched between those two. If we compare that with the Codechaos, first of all, you've got this textile material here that you can see exposed on the ankle areas, and that runs right the way through the shoe, so you can see it as an exposed textile on the tongue as well. And then for the vast majority of the shoe, then you've got this cover over the top of it as well, so this kind of plasticky material that's been hot melted onto the material as well. Both of which are waterproof in terms of the shoes, so you know you're both still getting the waterproof warranty, but very different ways of going about it. You can see up close here, you've got this kind of texturing material, which is kind of being covered by that plastic material there. So that's giving it quite an interesting look. Again, it's nice and soft feeling, not the same as leather, of course. And with the Tour360, you've got a very soft leather, which definitely breaks down over time and gets softer as your feet get used to it. But in this one, you know, there's not necessarily much of a breaking in period. This is just soft and comfortable right out of the box. What I would say is that the upper coating does give it a little bit more resistance. There, you know, it's not the same as just having this material right the way through the foot. You can definitely feel that, you know, there's a couple of creases in your foot when you walk on the shoe. I wouldn't call it uncomfortable. It's just something that I just kind of wanted to highlight and note. In regards to the boost on the Codechaos, and again, it is a full length boost, same as on the Tour360XT, but if we take a look in a little bit closer detail, what you can see here is that actually this is a bit more of an enclosed boost. So on both the lateral sides as well as the medial sides, you've got parts of the grip which come up and kind of encase areas of the boost. And that's really to help in regards to the stability of the shoe. As I say, if you compare that against the 360, you've not got that at all. So Adidas have gone for a full length boost in both, but you know, they've gone for different ideas in regards to how they're providing the stability of the shoe. Another area to highlight in regards to the stability, as I touched on before, is the 360 wrap technology, which you can find here on the XT. And as I mentioned, then what happens is the laces tie through both these three plastic straps, which you can find on both sides, and goes through the shoe as well, so it pulls the shoe nicely onto your foot in the midfoot area. If you compare that with the Codechaos, you've not got anything like that. What you have got is, you can kind of see here, the laces do go through the material, and there is these little kind of separate eyelets as well, just so the laces aren't totally just pulling on the material of the upper. So I suspect that's kind of increasing the durability a bit of the shoe, and also helps in regards to pulling that upper onto your foot. In regards to the stability of the shoes, then actually, even though there's quite a lot of significant technology going on with the Tour360, I don't notice a huge amount of difference really. This is still a very, very nice, tight feeling lockdown shoe, because it's designed that way. In regards to the Codechaos, what I would say is that it does fit quite closely to your feet, and that obviously helps with the stability on the top of the shoe. But if you're someone that likes a little bit more room in the golf shoe, then that's something to consider with the Codechaos, because I do find that it is quite a tight lockdown fit. If you compare that with the 360, then because of the nature of the leather material, it's going to give a little bit more, and it's going to feel perhaps maybe a little bit more roomy, or at least have a little bit more give in the material as a comparison. So again, that's something to consider. While I'm talking about comfort, I just wanted to highlight some of the materials on the inside as well. So you can see here on the ankle area, if I just kind of open that up there, you've got this, again, kind of textile material on the inside of the shoe. Nice and comfortable. You've got plenty of padding in there. The tongue area on the Codechaos is quite nice and wide, but again, it's not too thick, it's not overly padded. But I would say that these are very, very comfortable, and the Codechaos were, for me, comfortable right out of the box. There was no breaking in period. You know, they didn't give me any blisters on the multiple rounds that I've worn them. Very, very comfortable indeed. If I compare that with the Tour360XT, and on the inside you've got this leather material instead of a textile material, and for me there is a breaking in period with these shoes. The leather on the top is nice and comfortable to begin with, but it will only ever get softer. But I did experience some blistering in the heel area of these shoes when I wore them for the first time, and did take me a few rounds for these to kind of fully break in before they become totally comfortable with my feet. So if you are looking for shoes that are comfortable right out of the box, and that's really important to you, the Codechaos wins that one there, because these do take a bit of getting used to. Let me know down in the comments which one you prefer. Would you prefer to rock the Codechaos with the more unique styling, or do you prefer something looking a little bit more traditional? So let's move on to the grip of the shoes, because both of the soles are doing something very, very different here. So it would be good to actually kind of compare them next to each other. First of all, you have got the Codechaos shoes. So with those here, you have got the twist grip technology. So you can see here the pattern on this orange area is kind of, looks like random. You've got these kind of odd looking shapes right the way across, and they're all laid out at different kind of angles. And so Adidas are claiming that that's giving the most amount of grip possible, and certainly with the way that your foot will interact with the turf, as well as the fact that the turf will always be different everywhere you play. So that's kind of trying to help and give you the much amount of grip as possible. And then on the rest of the shoe, you've got these slightly softer lugs that are kind of more uniform in size, and they stretch here on the toe area, go around the outside a little bit, and then you can see them on the heel as well. So you've got these kind of softer but still quite aggressive and chunky lugs on the rear. If you compare that to the Tour360, and this is where you get the X traction lugs, because you can see you've got this X shape right the way across the whole of the shoe. So really, really interesting, because Adidas are, saying on both shoes you're getting leading performance and leading grip, but which one do you get more grip from? To be entirely honest, it's quite difficult to say, because I haven't got any, machines or anything to measure the grip. Personally, I've been really, really impressed with the Codechaos. It's given me a really, really good amount of grip. It's not slipped so far on me. That's not to say that the XTs have slipped either. I would say actually that the XTs is probably a more aggressive pattern. But for me, I would say that I prefer the feeling of the grip of the Codechaos, because these feel more comfortable to me underfoot, as well as for me personally, these shoes actually feel a bit more stable as well. It's probably because of the way that the grip pattern goes up and encloses that boost. That's making up for the lack of, you know, any kind of serious external stability here in the midfoot, but I've just been really impressed with these overall. As I say, not to say that the XT is bad, you know, these are very grippy and really impressive. Just personally for me, between the two, I just kind of prefer the feel of the Codechaos. Aside from the full-length boost midsole, it seems that there is another bit of technology that the two shoes share. That's a tongue twister right there, two shoes share. And that's the X-torsion system at the bottom of the shoe. So if I bring that up on the closer camera here, you can see here nice and clear on the Codechaos that you've got this kind of plate that's an X shape there. And if you compare that to the Tour360XT SL, if I highlight it on the camera there, you can actually see that plate as well, kind of underneath the traction of the shoe. And again, both of those are in there to add stability, so you know they are sharing some common technology in them. One thing that I would say in regards to boost foam in general is that it can be a bit of a pain in the backside to keep clean. So you can kind of see here that, you know, the mud and the dirt does kind of collect and stain in the side of the boost. And again, if I kind of bring here the Codechaos, that's exactly what's going to happen on these ones as well. Now these look nice and clean because I gave them a little bit of a wipe over, but if I just grab these ones here, you can actually see I had a bit of a mishap and ended up stepping in some bit of a muddy ditch that I thought was dry, and I stepped in the bottom of it to get my ball out and I just sunk straight in. So that'll be interesting to see how that cleans up. Now that is an interesting point with the Codechaos, because of the materials that they've used, because you've got this kind of exposed element of textile material here, and in fact if I grab the cleaner version you can still kind of see, this is going to mark up and show dirt over time a lot quicker than a pure leather golf shoe is going to show it, and the fact that you've got a leather tongue here as well. So these golf shoes are like a year older, and yet they're still looking pretty fresh, pretty clean. If you compare that to the Codechaos, they look clean now, absolutely, because I've just given them a good little wipe over on this one here, but definitely that boost is going to mark up, and this material here, the exposed material, is going to grey a little bit more. Now, if that's something you're worried about, then in the Codechaos, there's plenty of different colorways and options you can choose from. And there are different colorways as well in the Tour360XT. So there's definitely going to be something in there that you hopefully like and can find the one you want for you. But again, I just wanted to raise that as a little bit of a consideration. So which ones do I prefer? Personally, I think they are both very good golf shoes, but I personally prefer the brand new Codechaos. Reason being is because actually, although I don't necessarily like all of the colorways that they offer in the new Codechaos, I do quite like this colorway as well as some of the others, and I like the fact that it's trying to do something different and stands out a bit on the course. If you're looking for something that's more traditional, then obviously you're going to probably prefer the Tour360XT. But what I also like about this is that I just think it goes off the course much better. I've worn it with a pair of jeans before, just out and around the park when I was testing the shoes out initially. I would much prefer to drive to the course and drive home from the course wearing these. I think the grip is more usable for everyday life compared to the slightly more harsh traction on the 360XTs. So yeah, for me personally, between the two, I prefer the Codechaos. I just prefer the style and the design, and it's a little bit more me, but definitely there is a market for both. And that's actually really quite impressive from Adidas. The fact that they've recognized that there are two very different spikeless golf shoe markets out there that are looking for top quality performance, because both of these shoes are being used by tour players. Both of these shoes provide really similar kind of levels of grip and stability and comfort, but actually look so different. So there you go, that's my comparison there. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can keep up to date on all my latest reviews of golf shoes, clothing and tech right here on Golf Guy Reviews.